Welcome to the Ships Gonna Happen podcast, episode 67. My name is Tony B. Alongside me, as usual, is David B. and Timmy D. Today's topics. David B's got number one, Walmart Fulfillment Center openings. There seems to be a few more openings on there, and good stuff for the Walmart shoppers of the world. Number two, tonnage holding strong in the LTL industry. I got that, Tony B. Timmy D is going to follow up with inventory spikes. Remember, we're just three Americans discussing the topics that affect the transportation industry. Our views, the views of us three are purely news-driven and do not express the views of any transportation provider or any business entity that uses a transportation provider. We do it for the
Transportainment.
I missed it. My bad. Transportainment.
Early.
That's right.
It's too early.
It is.
My
That's
bad.
right. Transportainment. That's why we do it. You can catch us on YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, Google Podcast, Amazon, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, and our home website, www.ShipsGonnaHappen.com. www.ShipsGonnaHappen.com.
This guy should be on the micro machine commercial back in the early 90s.
All you needed, go ahead, Dave.
I'm the fifth grade B team that came in for that save is what I was.
Oh, yeah. All you have to do is Google Ships Gonna Happen in the search engine and you will find us. David B, good Saturday morning.
Good Saturday morning to both of you. It is a nice little cool Saturday morning, a little bit of rain going on, but it's nice that the weekend's finally here. And this show, along with all the other shows, are brought to you by The Great Divide, 743 East New York Street, downtown Indy. Was there extremely late for me yesterday and kind of headed up with the locals, had a good time, had some cocktails, good place to eat, good place to unwind after a Ship's Gonna Happen week and hear some music and just all this awesome atmosphere at The Great Divide, 743 East New York Street, downtown Indy. Driving through downtown Indy this morning, kind of coming along with that construction at that 65-70 split going on, and I'll be excited when they finally get that done.
No, man.
They made some progress on it, though.
They have. Timmy D, how are you this morning, sir?
Oh, we're here, man. We're up and rolling, and we got a neighborhood garage sale going on.
Nice.
So if you're in the hood, come on by.
The trailer park has got
Was your guacamole trophy in the garage sale?
Jesus, with that goddamn guacamole. God, we do need to set something up, by the way.
I was going to say, 1 year ago today, it came up on my feed that...
On your feed.
On my feed that it had come, today was the day. Today was the day for the second
Today's
one.
the day you dominated? Is that how it told you?
That's what it said. Domination.
Today's the
Thanks
day
for
you dominated.
listening to the Ship's Gonna Happen show. We'll talk to you guys next week.
We're out. No,
If it makes you feel any better, every morning when I wake up, I pat myself on the back to save time later in the day.
Yeah, nice. Yeah.
What's up, Tony B?
Oh, good morning, Timmy D. Good morning, David.
Good morning.
Happy Saturday to you. Yeah, it was a great show. We did the past show, 66, was Jess trucking around. Thanks for her for coming on. Yeah, awesome young lady. New to the industry, been driving for a couple years and doing a good job out there. Very safe, concerned, and just a really nice person.
Yeah, give her a listen if you're if you're interested in getting into the industry. She's very informative and can kind of, since she's really new, kind of give you a look at what to expect.
And a killer name, Jess Trucking Around. It's pretty killer.
Yeah, it is.
Even though she's a Buckeyes fan.
Yeah, she's from Ohio. She's a neighboring state, the Buckeyes. The Ohio State Buckeyes.
Man, oh man.
All right. So
I love how everyone in college football, when they go to the pros and they do the introductions on them, right. They're like, the University of Missouri. And it's like, no.
So I remember one of my favorite intros on that was when they came to Randy Moss one time, and he's like, Rand University. And I don't know if you guys have, either one of you have seen that 30 for 30.
Oh, it's fantastic.
It's the best. One of the best. And to see him give that little, Randy Moss, Rand University, I'm like, hell yeah.
But you see where he grew up, man. You talk about a guy that he grew up rough. I mean, absolutely rough. RUFF too, rough.
Very rural West Virginia, very, just, I don't know what the right word is.
It was just, he grew up rough. That's all you need to know.
Yeah. And probably one of the best 30 for 30.
Hall of Famers, man. Hall of Famers.
And his induction speech to Hall of Fame, and I'm not a religious man, but if he was on a pulpit every Sunday morning, I'd be fucking front pew. Excuse my language.
Whoa,
he's that good. I would be front pew.
Yeah. He's a man that's went through a lot of trials and tribulations.
And
come out strong. So
and his the way he presents, the way he talks. I just like Randy Moss is awesome.
I do too. All right, we'll get into our topics. As I said, Walmart Fulfillment Center. David's got that one. You ready to get into topic number 1? David B. hitting us up.
So often on this show, we talk about how we got into this industry, and none of us planned on being here and doing this. And the reason why I'm here today is because I didn't do my homework when I was in high school, and I didn't do my homework for today. So I'm kind of shooting from the hip on this one.
I'm going to give you a good news notice anyways today.
Okay. Yeah. Nice. And so Walmart's going to build 4 new fulfillment centers randomly throughout the United States to kind of help with getting things delivered in a more timely fashion. One of them they're calling like a high tech. And I need to kind of, again, I should have done my homework and I didn't. A high-tech fulfillment center. I'll tell you what, I ordered from them the other day. I put 2 orders in. Each order called for 3 items. And the same day, one of those items delivered. And I had no intent on getting it the same day. Within 2 hours, poop, poop, there it was. I'm just like.
For the same price?
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But one of the things, too, that, Walmart has this Walmart Plus thing. Why do I need to pay a membership to get my shit or to get my stuff faster or
ShipsGonnaHappen,
I guess? But I'm like, why do I have to pay extra for this?
Kind of do with maybe with the Amazon Prime, right?
Amazon Prime just went up, right? Yeah. A couple months ago, they just said, so it was $100, and then a few years back they went to 120, and then they just gave another price increase to 140, and they blamed it on shipping costs. Basically, is what they wrote it off as. It's an easy money grab. Everyone knows ship's going to happen. Price goes up. It's an easy money grab. You can get it the next day. You don't have to worry about it.
But I just, in my head, I can't grasp why I would pay a membership fee to do that. And so it's $98 a year for Walmart Plus, and it gives you X amount of cents a gallon. And of course, any savings on gas, is definitely a plus. But I'm like, in a way, I guess I could see it paying for itself, but I'm just like, why? And then you can also do like a scan and go at the store where you could scan your stuff and pay for it with your phone. But why shouldn't that convenience just be for everybody? I mean, why am I have to pay?
I think it's their counter.
It's just something in my head. I don't understand.
Yeah, I think it's their counter to Amazon Prime, like Tim was just saying.
Yeah,
it's
I know.
No, I know. I agree with you, but because of the costing of it. But I think Walmart's probably the only consumer or only
big box
that can deal with Amazon.
Yeah.
I think that's their way of doing it.
Yeah, Target tried, right? Target turned all their storefronts or brick and mortars into DCs at the end of the day. I don't know if you guys know that. A few years ago, probably the project started in 2018. If I had to put my thumb on it, probably was completed by 2019. But all their big Target brick and mortars become DCs, as in when you would order online, you could go to Target and pick up.
Okay.
And so they had converted a lot of their storage space in the back to just being for online orders only. So that trend started 5, 6, 8 years ago when Amazon started really getting big, and that was their way to compete. Because Amazon, what are they doing? They don't have storefronts, right? Mm-hmm. So they are going to their DCs. And to your point of the 4 DCs that are going up, that they're putting up, everything is becoming regional in base. Okay. So that you can have it in 2 days at the max, right? Okay. What Bezos say? He said, 2 things will never go away in this industry: speed or transit time, whatever you want to call it, and price. That's the 2 things that will always drive this industry, period. And so Amazon opened up, and you see what Amazon did. They went out and they bought Fresh Market.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
right?
They circled wagons.
They're like, you know what? Maybe we do need a little brick and mortar. Our customer base still wants a little brick and mortar. So, and Walmart's trying to do that to the point of now they're strategically opening up these bigger DCs, so they could be those 1 and 2 days. It'll help them, I think. Versus going to the big hubs. Just go to the brick and mortar. You've got a lot more transit, a lot more lead times when you're buying products. And when products aren't coming in as fast, you got to have that go as soon as it hits. It doesn't have time to go hit the shelf for you to go shop. So it's convenience.
Did they say how much, David? How much money they spent on these?
No. Again,
I'm assuming it's
I'm assuming, yes, they did. But again, this guy didn't do his homework. So, and I apologize.
So
for
did
that.
they say the for why it was just, it's just strategic?
It was strategic. Like Tim is saying, it's strategic, and it's just to help with with the way things are today. You know, times changed, or ordering from the convenience of your home and having a stove or a washer or whatever sitting in the Atlantic Ocean since last whatever time of year.
I mean, think about it. I mean, they're paying the drivers, what do you say, minimum $80,000 now. So you've got that cost that's there that they're just trying to streamline the process. I always call it the spoke game. You know, in this industry, it's a spoke game. You got a manufacturer, so they got to ship raw goods in, create something, got to go here. Then from there, that DC takes it, put it into the storefronts. There's a lot of handling that they're just cutting out. And you're going to pay that $100 for the convenience factor to know you're going to have it next day.
Yeah. Yeah. And I kind of understand that. I just can't grasp my head around why I'm going to give Walmart an extra $100 a year or Amazon an extra $140 a year to get my stuff quicker. I mean, because Tony and I, when we were growing up, it was allowed 6 to 8 weeks for delivery. That shit's not even 6 to 8 weeks. It said it right on the back, 6 to 8 weeks delivery.
Yeah.
Or even 6 to 8 days. Now,
how long is it taking me to get my Mallow Cup shirt?
Right.
I mean, what? My Mallow Cup shirt.
Tony picks me up the other day, Thursday, and he goes, hey, I can finally get a Mallow Cup shirt or whatever. He's got the inset or the tray from the Mallow Cup thing. I can finally get my shirt. How long is it going to take to get that thing?
Since 15.
Because you're probably the only one. You're probably the only. They've got a warehouse full of Mallow shirts, and finally, somebody can fucking get a Mallow shirt. Because Tony,
the Mallow Cups.
I have no clue what you old folks are talking about.
They got the marshmallow inside, the little Mallow cups. They're like a Reese's cup, but they got them. They're called Mallow cups. They're yellow.
Nobody listening to this show know what it is.
Mallow, okay, so it's a candy.
Yeah,
it is.
Okay.
And then the insert.
Sweet like us.
Yes. Sweet and tasty and creamy.
Yeah.
So then.
Was this candy produced in 1962 or what?
It doesn't taste like it. It's a little more fresh than that.
Okay.
Maybe 80s. Maybe the 80s.
Okay.
But they were the yellow and black, and you'll notice them. They say Mallow on them.
I have seen those.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
almost like a Hershey bar looking.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so on the inside, it says, what's funny about it is it says, save the Mallow Cup inserts for your shirt.
Yeah.
But it never tells you how many Mallow Cup inserts that you have to save.
That's right.
So it's like the Marlboro Lights miles, the 5 miles on the side of the Marlboro Lights.
But they tell you how many miles you need, right?
Yeah.
This does not. It just says send in the Mallow Cup for your insert for your shirt. Well, I've done it. I never got a shirt.
In 1985, $19.85 for shipping and handling. Your shirt's free. Your shirt's free, but you got to pay for shipping and handling.
So have you got it? Have you got it yet?
No, I never got one. So then I was jokingly telling Dave I've been saving them since I was 15, but I did it when I was a kid, never got it.
It looked like and Tim definitely doesn't. Do you know what the candy Chuckles is? Do you know?
So Chuckles. It's kind of
Chuckles was like a fruit flavored, there was a yellow, a green, orange, and red, and so I initially thought that's what that was.
Because it looked like
Chuckles insert or whatever.
Yeah. And this is why you pay the $100 at Walmart so you can get it.
Exactly.
15 years.
You get your shirt tomorrow.
Yes.
Jeez.
Plus $19.85 shipping and handling or whatever.
So did they? Go ahead.
No, I'm off track now. I don't even know what I was going to say. Go ahead, Tony. What were you?
I was going to ask you. Did they? So this is basically strategic to increase their range of getting it regionally, like Tim said, the next day to 2-day thing, right? Do you guys think that, because I was thinking this when you were talking about it, David, do you think they'll do their own trucks?
As in
like
Amazon
home delivery? Yeah.
They don't now.
I don't know why they
How did that come to you? Same day,
just some random vehicle.
Okay,
I don't know what it was, but just so part of the ordering process was tipping the driver. I'm not tipping the fucking driver. Do
you take care of your drivers? It's the truck driver's show.
Oh wait, I mean yes. Always tip the driver.
I tipped my DoorDash driver last night.
No man.
So speaking of, and I'm getting off topic again. We're going. You tip the pizza guy.
Yeah.
That's what you said last
I
night.
tipped a DoorDash driver. Absolutely.
Do you do DoorDash? I've never done DoorDash.
Oh yeah.
I've never once done DoorDash.
Oh yeah.
So the driver, I was late today because I was working, and so I unloaded a driver today that we're actually going to have on for our first whatever date in July we're going to record. And we started talking about.
Excuse me.
We started talking about how drivers would get paid. I go, sir, it was right at the very end, and we're chit-chatting about drivers and this and that. I go, do you think you should be paid by the mile, or do you think you should be paid? So wait a minute. Hold on. This is the best answer I've ever heard. And so I go, do you think you should be salaried? And he goes, why should I get paid the same amount of money that a brand new driver is going to do? Like by the mile. Why should he get 52 cents a mile and I get 52 cents a mile? I go, well said. He goes, we should be salaried. And I'm with bonuses. I go, that's fair. I said, that's what I want to hear. I go, and you're using content. We'll talk about this on the show. So
yeah, you think about it though, 52 cents when you start out, maybe you got 58 cents as your pay increase as an experienced driver.
Yeah.
Is that how they do it?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't either. He goes, I think it's dumb that we all get paid the same. So
There might be some reality to that.
So
right?
let me get these boys back into this Walmart 4 new facilities out there.
Right.
Do you guys see? I'm sure you do, but what is your thoughts on? My opinion, the last probably 5-6 years, everything's starting to go regional. Since Amazon started taking off, everyone's trying to get that speed. So they're starting to build these big warehouses. Indianapolis is huge on warehouses, right? We've got parks going up everywhere because it's a strategic place within the United States. It can reach a lot of places because of DOT rules to get there in 2 days. Do you see that trend continuing? And do you see the long haul aspect going away?
Go ahead, Dave.
I definitely see the trend continuing, but I'm not sure that the long haul. I don't know. I mean, it makes sense what you're saying, but I'm not sure about the long haul trend going away, though. I don't know. I definitely see. I mean, convenience is never a fad. I always say convenience is not a fad, and convenience is just going to continue to grow. I mean, if you can. Like I said, I placed 2 Walmart orders and got one of them the same day, and I wasn't expecting it the same day. Just boom, there it was. Convenience is, I think the convenience of things, it'll always kind of progress and go the way it's going.
Timmy D, that's a good question. I think it's regional. I mean, I've been seeing it since I first got in the industry, right? When I first got in the industry, obviously I worked for a strictly 2-day and beyond carrier, but the bulk of their shipments were 3 to 5 days, right? So as time's gone by, it seems that that train, if you were to take the average transit time in the industry, I'm sure at 80s, 90s, maybe even early 2000s, it would be probably skewed more toward the 3 to 5. And I think that it's all those regional carriers put so much pressure on it, right?
Right.
So I think it needed to happen. And I just think it's regional because that's where the automation and all that's going to help in the long term. Whether you're pro or con, I think that's where it'll help the line haul portion of the logistics.
It'll help ease the driver situation. Yeah. So, you talked about some random car showed up and delivered your Walmart order. So I guarantee if you look at that Walmart, so Walmart's become like an Amazon because I've ordered off of them as well. That person, let's just say it's, I don't know, it's a keyboard that you ordered, okay? That keyboard is not in the Walmart DC. That keyboard's not at the Walmart facility itself. That keyboard is sitting at whoever sold it to Walmart, or Walmart is third party and they're 3PLing it off of someone else's website. Right. And it's sitting in their small little local warehouse. It could be at an Amazon facility. Maybe that's where that driver came from. So it delivered with Amazon and you bought it through Walmart's website. Right. So Walmart only made, I don't know, $1.50 off that keyboard you ordered that showed up because, Amazon got their $1.50 and then the person that made it got their $1.50 and then China got their $1.50. So I guess my whole point of this is there's so many cuts. You end up being 4-time broker and 5-time broker is what you're doing for speed and transit. So everyone's getting their little cut. But what happened when you bought that keyboard? You now bought a mouse that they actually have. You bought the mouse pad. You may have bought the computer or whatever.
Right.
You bought multiple items. So they're taking their little tiny margin and they're doing absolutely nothing but fronting that on a computer and the convenience and leveraging their brand to you.
Right.
So I think you're going to pay for convenience. You just are. You know, I DoorDash last night. I paid for the convenience, not to go get it.
Right. I mean, that makes sense. And again, I say convenience is not a fad. I mean, to have the opportunity to just sit at home and order, you know, patio furniture or whatever it is. How often, and this happens to us all the time, how often do you get shit that's not yours delivered to your house? It happens to us all the time.
No, very rarely.
Yeah, very rarely for me. It's happened.
I'm like, how do you not know? Like the other day, it was probably a week or two ago. You watched the Amazon person deliver a package that wasn't for us at our house and then go to the right house and deliver another package. You're like, how'd you get that wrong?
I think
how in the hell did you get that wrong?
I've noticed. I used to in my past couple jobs we've talked about before. I used to have to pay attention to the mailboxes, right? And so some neighborhoods you go into, like this address may be really, like that mailbox may really be for that.
It's on the other side of the street.
Yeah, so some neighborhoods do it differently.
Or like your house is on a corner right there, so your streets kind of interject, so you don't know what address, what street name you're on.
Right.
Fair.
He did not want to say that, did he?
David's got both hands up here in the studio.
I wish you could have watched this person deliver. You're like,
no.
Here, all right, you're dropping a package off at our house, which is completely wrong, but you're going to the right house and deliver it. And I go, did we order something that we didn't get? And they're like, no. And I'm like, okay. And so then I just took it over to their house, which is no big deal. But I'm like, how did you get the one right and the one wrong? Is your house numbered on the outside? Like
no, just on the mailbox.
Just on the mailbox.
Yeah, some are though. I think that's what
ours are.
Yeah, some neighborhoods require it.
Whatever.
I can see you being double, triple labeled up at your house with your address.
Right. Yeah, there we go.
So let me ask you this: how many times have you opened that package and does it belong to you to find out if there's anything good in it?
Never had. Back in the day when Tony and I were growing up, when somebody knocked on the door, you answered it. When somebody knocks on the door now, you don't even like, who the fuck's knock? Excuse my language.
Man,
who the hell is knocking on the door?
Ran to the back.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody's home.
Our welcome mat says, please do not ring the doorbell. No need to get the dog involved. Right.
Oh, yeah,
and every time I answer the door after they ring the daggone doorbell and dogs go nuts, I'm like, sorry, I didn't realize that. I didn't read your mat until after I hit the doorbell. Well, yeah, you didn't hear it until you heard the big 160-pound Great Dane massive barking at your butt.
Coming to get you.
Tim's sign says, if you get past that dog, you will be shot.
That's a good doormat too. I would like that one.
So yeah, I think it's a good topic. It's one of those convenience is always out there, and Walmart again is trying to get in. They know it's all e-commerce space.
That's where it's headed. You know, you can do about it.
Yeah.
Nothing you can do about it.
So that's where I'm at with Walmart fulfillment.
Thanks,
centers.
David. That's good stuff.
Well, they had to build one of them. They had to rebuild because one of them burned down. The largest in the nation burned down.
They didn't rebuild that one.
No, and I don't think they're going to because they opened the big one out here.
Yeah,
they just opened it up. Yeah,
it's huge.
Yeah,
Amazon's got a big one too back there.
Yeah, they got about
Holy cow!
It's getting crazy, dude. These warehouses are getting insane.
Do you guys deliver to those? I mean, do you always have?
Yeah, God, yeah.
Oh yeah.
And what's crazy is I usually head that way out. Oh. It's like I don't even go that way anymore. I go around it.
We sell to them, and they come get their own stuff.
Do they?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Well, a lot of it's customer driven, where Amazon's paying the bill or Walmart's paying the bill, so it's not necessarily my shippers going. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We can tie 2 and 3 together, Timmy D.
Yeah, go ahead, Tony B. Kick it off.
We'll let you do it.
No.
Yes.
So you guys know Timmy D does not like to start out and bring up a topic. It's long-winded, but let's let Tony B go. I like to chime in and give no good information to back it up.
We've got to do a shout out to Trucker Raid at 82.
Here we go. Hey, yeah. Tonnage
How come your guys' music is better than mine?
And spikes. Yeah.
Just
He's a producer. He gets what he wants.
Producer Tony gets all the
I had
good
a
stuff.
struggle finding the right button.
That was a good button.
All you need to say is, I've got a struggle. Yeah, we understand.
So Timmy D and I'll handle the tonnage in the industry seems to be holding strong. It doesn't seem to be the spikes that we saw in the past years, right? The tonnage levels are holding. Although there may be some sectors, Midwest areas, some areas where it's down a little bit due to some manufacturing, but it relatively seems that and maybe the tonnage would be higher if it was not the fuel prices. I don't know, but maybe that's what's holding the rates coming in is the LTL price. And then, so it looks overall, I did a scan and it looks like the LTL industry and the truckload industry overall is holding its tonnage, which is a good thing. So, Timmy
It's
D,
flatline though. It's not.
it's kind of, well, it's holding. It's not growth. It's not a negative decline, which is what we're concerned about, right? So we don't want to go into negative decline because then we are definitely in a recession. So I was encouraged to see that. I don't know how long it's going to last, but Timmy, you had something on the spikes.
Well,
inventory.
just hand in hand with that, I think there was a lot of panic buy. So COVID, whatever, 2021 was a freak year after the COVID 2020, right? So you can talk about back to back, but every purchasing manager out there was ordering. I'm going to use the keyboard again, right? Let's say that they know they sell 10 keyboards a month. They're ordering 40 keyboards at once for that next month because they haven't had it in stock. So they've ordered all this bulk inventory in 2021. Fast forward to today, 2022. The inventory now in these warehouses is up about 10% from what everything I could gather. It's about 10%. And
that's not
extra.
Good, right?
Typically not. Inventory is money. It's cash.
Because there's an inventory stock tax.
Well, exactly. So now that's why I think the shipping has flatlined. So instead of it going up and the recession talk and all that, is people finally, first off, starting to go back to work. Okay. Everyone's starting to go back to work, so they ain't got as much time sitting around ordering crap on Walmart or Amazon or whatever.
Flipping around on Walmart.
But so they've ordered 40 keyboards and they only normally sell 10. So let's say they've sold 30 of those. They're still sitting on those same 10. And because the shipping industry has kind of flatlined the last couple months, basically since February is when it kind of end of February, early March is what I read, but kind of flatlined because everyone's sitting on some of this inventory that's still sitting there that they haven't sold yet. And I think it's because panic buying. Purchasers are panic buying so that they don't run out. And that's kind of why I think you got the flat line and no longer up. And then the other thing I read into that, to your flat line thing, was fuel prices. So I read this week, truck drivers, again, and we know the independents are only so much of it, but they're starting to sit out. So what's going to be interesting what happens if they're starting to sit out because as a rebellion to the price of fuel.
Okay. So you mean sitting out there, they're being more selective on loads, or are they just not participating?
They're just parking their trucks.
Wow.
Until they got to have money. They're running very little runs to make what they got to do, and they're done.
How many gallons is it to fill up a truck?
300, right?
Oh, yeah.
300 to 400.
$1,500.
Yeah.
What used to cost 1,000 now costs 2,500.
Wow.
That's a big.
So, wow.
But I think that's why you're seeing the flat line. It's not necessarily going down, which is fantastic, but you're seeing the extra inventory that has been purchased sitting there now in these warehouses. So that's just kind of what I did. I didn't know what you guys are seeing. Are your David B, is your purchasing manager, are they slowing down on their lead times? Are they adding more lead times? Are they doubling up their orders? What's the process in that?
That's a great question. I work as much as I can hand in hand with our purchasing manager. And she's being told with almost all of our suppliers that it's a 15-day lead time. And that's just recently. I mean, we didn't experience that in the pandemic, but now it's a minimum 15-day lead time for any purchase order to
what was filled. It in 2019-ish?
5 days, probably a 5-day lead.
So 3 times on the lead times.
Wow.
And we're post quote unquote post-pandemic, I guess.
Right.
Yeah. So,
Well,
but we didn't have it in the pandemic, but now we have 15-day lead time.
Wow.
Do you see that going away?
No.
Is that something that's going to be new expectation?
It's the new normal. Yeah.
But why is it the new normal? I mean, what like Tim's saying, what's different now than pre-pandemic stuff? Why is it that why is it a 15-day lead time?
I think because purchasing managers have learned their lesson. I hate to say this, but they're relying on the transportation to be next day. They're relying on that 2 to 3 day transit where it says it's going to arrive in 2 days. They've experienced where it doesn't arrive for 7 or 8 days, and it's become the new norm, unfortunately, because that's what it is.
We have sales reps where the raw materials won't even have been gotten to the supplier yet or at the supplier, and they're like, when can we expect this to the customer? I'm like, the raw materials aren't even delivered yet. You gotta, this is all, and maybe, I guess to your point, maybe that we're in this gotta have it now mentality, and you can't get everything right now, And
I think that's where the purchasing managers are allowing more lead time. But I think to Tony's point of it flatlining on the demand out there for the capacity's opened up a little bit in the last month or so. So beginning of May was really, really tight. End of May, bring up Memorial Weekend, which holiday weekends are always tough in the industry. It really loosened up. It wasn't a normal Memorial Day weekend where everyone was panicking to get things out. And I think because capacity's opened up because there's less orders, not necessarily less lead times, but less orders because they're sitting on a little bit of inventory. I'm not saying they're sitting on stockpiles, but you hear the news talk about how some of these companies are going to be running some hot summer sales just to get rid of some of their inventory to get their space back in their warehouse to bring in the fall goods. So, but I don't see purchasing managers changing their buying habits, except not tripling order. They may only double order now, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I tell you what, we're growing, big time growing. Are you guys seeing growth? Or, I mean, I know we're talking the tonnage and everything. Are you guys saying
every morning I wake up, I've been growing.
Oh, jeez. Man.
Talking about my belly, David B. Come on, right, man. Yes.
Morning wood.
I don't know. I will tell you this, that the industry is flatlined because I think the ordering processes or the ordering is down. But Tony B, you shed light. You tell me, what's your thoughts?
No, I think you hit the nail on the head. I think a lot of it's resetting. The world's reset itself. I think you have equipment imbalances, container imbalances, equipment imbalances that are probably contributing to David's 15 days now because the equipment's being consumed.
Is China open back up? Or are they still?
I don't think they fully are.
I'm just wondering because, I mean, 2 weeks ago we talked about it. I mean, do you order your Christmas now?
Yeah.
No, I don't think we dropped that bombshell like we did last year. People didn't believe us.
Yeah.
So
they didn't believe us. Yeah.
I would, the other thing I would say now, so if trucking is flatlining and the demand is not as high as it was this time last year, right? Capacity was just a zoo. Heck, it was a zoo in January and February.
Right.
But it's because of like Tony B was saying, it's flatline. Why are prices still high? And the reason being is fuel prices is what's driving that price. It's still a company or a transportation provider. Unlike us, we're transportainment providers. The fuel cost has not allowed shipping costs to go down, which means goods don't go down because you're going to, at the end of the day, the end consumer eats that. And that's why inflation's where it's at. If you contain that, then you've got some more, the ball kind of goes more neutral in the court to where the David B's of the world can now negotiate a little bit more. But because of fuel cost, the cost is not going down. Where there's still big price increases out to shippers. Yep.
It just is. I really want to see what my rates would be if fuel was quote unquote back to normal.
Oh my God, your rates would be golden.
They're good now, but I would really want to see them if fuel was quote unquote normal.
Oh yeah.
I'm still waiting so right now I saw fuel for truckload at 98.6% was fuel rates. All right. So that means half of your load costs you on fuel, basically.
Yeah.
And then LTL is running around that 45 to 48%, 49%. So, again, half your cost or whatever you want to call it. I should say a third, but I can't wait to see that fuel to go to like, I don't know, 106%.
Yeah.
Where it costs you more for the fuel than it does for the truck itself.
That's what's going to happen.
Is that coming or not?
David, how much
great
is it added to
question.
your freight bill?
Oh,
On average.
I'd say
Fuel.
Over 50% or whatever.
Yeah, the cost of the whole shipment. Yeah.
How do you talk to your president and CEO about how much more transportation budget, I almost said transportainment, but transportation budget you need because of fuel?
Yeah. So being in the industry, kind of the fuel /
Because you have your own drivers too, right?
Yeah. But they're expensive.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's almost, and I hate to say this, it's almost best if you just farm it out.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, I miss a lot of costs.
You save money.
Yeah.
And I don't want anybody to lose their job, but you would save money probably and just farm it out. And they get it. I mean, we're technically in that industry anyway, the company I work for.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we've had in the last year and a half, 10 increases.
Yeah,
so
you have
as
to.
As far as, you know, and like Tim says, you're passing it along to the consumer.
Right.
And there's another one coming up. So at the beginning of July, I mean, you're just passing all that along.
Yeah.
So
It's you got anything else to say about it being flatline, Tony B? Because that's an interesting. As much capacity we talk about, I feel like it's now hit the peak. But do you see that being the forecast for the rest of the year in your professional knowledge?
Man, I don't know, Tim. It's a good question because I've been thinking about that. And what's weird is we have the you know, we don't talk about politics on the show, but you have a political year right here with the you know, with the House and Senate, right? So you wonder how many, you know, they're more, seems like our country's more focused on getting reelected right now than they are
every 4 years. Yeah.
Well,
all the time.
what is our real problems? But
Right.
I just think that the retail industry's set right now, right? So they'll look to I don't know, man. I just think it's going to be a weird year.
I like how you want to answer it, but we always say we don't get into politics on this show.
Yeah,
so, but it's election year. We talked about it back in 2020 for the big presidential election.
Right.
It's everyone has a different agenda. Everyone goes about things different ways. But my personal, I think that because of fuel prices, the prices will not go down regardless. Until we can get the gas and the diesel fixed, you're not going to see consumer goods go down at all. You're just not.
Yeah, exactly. You're right.
So,
You ready?
Yeah, interesting topics. That's it. Yeah, ship's gonna happen.
We're ready for some David's random.
Oh, we're on to random thoughts. Nice random thoughts music. I do like
Yeah,
this. So
David's random thoughts. Hit us, David B.
So I texted both of you earlier in the week. I've got two of them this morning. So I text both of you earlier in the week to kind of give me your Mount Rushmore of professional
That's a good
athletes
question.
that have played in Indianapolis.
Okay.
Whether
I grew
it
up in
be-
Chicago. Can I say Chicago?
It's your show.
Yeah,
It's your show,
Chicago.
baby. You are the producer extraordinaire. That is just fine. And we'll lead off with you.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I mean, I put a little thought into this.
Okay.
All right. So my first would have to be Papa Bear, George Hallis.
Okay.
Okay. Because
All
he
right.
played.
Yes.
He's the founder of pro football, right? There wouldn't be a lot of teams without him.
Right.
And then I would have to go with my guy, pound for pound, inch for inch, the heavyweight champion of the world, Walter Payton.
Oh, bam.
Right?
Sweetness.
Wow.
Got to have Peyton, right?
Sweetness.
Over the top, down the middle, around the end. He can do it all. Throw, pass, punt.
Have you seen his daughter, Brittany?
Yeah, I think
very pretty.
Yeah, I've seen him and
Very
his son,
pretty.
Jared, I think, too.
Yes. Anyway, sorry. Go
Oh,
ahead.
no, that's all right. And then some of them might not be favorites. I'd have to put Dick Butkus, right, in
so
there with
there's-
Walter Payton. And then, so that's the three, right?
Right.
And then I'd have to, I love Jim McMahon.
Wow,
he was
you
my
went
favorite
all
Bear.
Bears.
Yeah, I love him.
I was gonna ask if you
you
went
went
Jim
all
McMahon.
Bears
Yep.
in the city of Chicago.
Yep.
All right.
So then I go,
like it.
I go Jim McMahon. And then to see the last one,
Just leave it. Don't say nothing. Shut your mouth, David B.
What, was he gonna say
No,
name?
no, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Why?
This is your Mount Rushmore. You tell us.
right, it's mine. So that's my, then I probably would have to, if you got a good quarterback and a good running back, you probably need a good tight end.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So I probably have to throw Mike Ditka on there,
Okay.
right? So that would be my five.
I like it.
Okay.
I like it. Awesome. Anyway, Rushmore.
No, I can't let this go, folks.
All right, you go. You
Michael
know where
Jordan's not on your top 5 in Chicago.
The Bears?
So Mount Rushmore is 4, but we'll go with 5.
You're talking about Bears.
No,
Oh,
Chicago.
Chicago. Are you kidding me?
Do you not pay attention to anything?
I thought it was just football.
That's all right.
Because you said Colts, so I was thinking
No,
football.
I did not say Colts.
Oh, you didn't?
The word Colts never came out of my mouth.
crap.
Did not say
well, hell
Colts.
yeah, Michael Jordan goes on there. He's probably number 1, right? Peyton. Then you're gonna go.
Would you put Jordan or
okay.
Peyton first?
I probably would go Jordan.
Okay.
Just because Jordan, he reinvented basketball in Chicago, man. And Peyton was probably my favorite. I don't know. I'd have to go Jordan, Peyton. I'd go. Wow, man. There's some good Cubbies in there and some good Socks.
And Blackhawks.
I mean,
that's why I said
Tony
you're going all
Esposito.
Bears.
You'd have to go Tony Esposito, Chelios.
Right.
You'd have to go, man, and then you'd have to go into the Mount Rushmore, the Chicago Bulls. I'd have to put Pippen on there.
Okay.
I'd have to put.
You only get 4
I'd have to put
there.
Tom Bullwinkle on there. You remember Tom Bullwinkle? No, we need him on there. But that's some kind of want to take up all the time because I did it. But
That's all right.
Yeah, but that's who. I mean, I'm sorry. I thought it was just football.
Dude,
That's fine.
It's fine.
That's
It's
all
no
right.
big deal.
It's good stuff. It's a fun
no big
question.
deal. Timmy D.
You want me? I don't know.
Timmy's.
So you hit me with this.
Indianapolis,
I've thought about it a
Rushmore.
couple of times. I'm like, I can go so many. I could go so many directions, like football only. and do this.
I don't know why. I went
So I would probably have to go Reggie Miller first for me. That's who I grew up with. My favorite of all time.
a good choice.
Reggie
Very
Miller,
good.
one of the top 3 shooters of all time.
Oh,
in my
yeah.
opinion.
Pressure guy.
Hall of Famer.
Yep.
Peyton Manning's got to be there. He built the new stadium, right? He's got to be top 5, 6, definitely top 10 of all time quarterbacks
Yeah,
out
no
there. By the way, did you see what Ryan Fitzpatrick just said? Who just retired?
No.
Who started for what? Like, was it 18 teams in the NFL or
Wasn't
something?
bad.
He said Tom Brady is the greatest champion of all time that he played against, but Peyton Manning was the greatest quarterback of all time. That was interesting how you put that.
That's a great.
So that's my 2. So I'm gonna hit you with something a little different. I'm gonna have to say Tony Stewart's got to be up there.
Okay.
He's from Indiana.
The Red Rocket.
He used to race both
is that
the
what it's called? The
Indy
Rocket.
500. He'd
Rocket.
fly all the way to Charlotte the same day to race
Same
both
day,
those.
yeah.
So
Marathon
he's
man.
not scared to go from a NASCAR. I mean, he's known in every racing thing.
Didn't he
there
win
ever
one of them
was.
one time?
He won the Brickyard.
Brickyard, yeah.
NASCAR. He did not win the Indy 500, but to be able to run 2 races like that, I mean, a 500-mile race and then Charlotte with all the G's forces going
Badass.
on. Gosh, and then you leave one more open, and I'm trying to be diverse on all the different sports. I didn't really see him, but Dr. J's got to be up there, right?
But
Was
Dr.
it-
J didn't play for Indianapolis. In Indianapolis.
He played for high school here.
Oh,
Am I
No, I
wrong?
don't think so. I think he was from.
Am I missing something here?
I think the one player that did was.
Okay, I'm gonna
Big
change
O.
it.
The
You
Big
ready?
O did.
There you go.
The Big O.
Yeah,
Big
Oscar
O,
Robertson.
Oscar Robertson. That's maybe who I was. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
Oscar
yeah.
Robertson. But it'd be him or here's one, Wayne Gretzky.
Oh,
Didn't he play for the
He
Indian-
played for the
Indian-
Racers.
Yeah, for the Racers for like whatever.
Well
so, he's the greatest of all time in hockey, right? He played here at one point.
Yep.
And I wouldn't say he was the greatest at the time in Indianapolis, but he played here.
right.
And then, I also threw up in the back of my mind, I'm thinking you go to college hoops, right? You bring in some of that 80s, that undefeated 87 team.
Cheryl Miller.
Or 78 team. Sharon Miller.
Reggie's sister.
Hey,
he
she
could
was a-
never beat her.
Hey, she was a
until
baller.
later. Yeah.
No, I think that's what I'd go with. I think I'd go with
That's a good man.
Reggie Miller, Peyton Manning, Tony Stewart, because it's an auto racing town. It really is. And then Oscar Robertson is who I was
Big
thinking
O.
of.
Wow,
Yeah, the
that's
Big
a
O.
good 4. I
Yeah,
like that. That's a
big,
really,
big
really
O.
good list. Really good list. So I'm going to go to Tim's point. I'm going to go the diversity route and take. I'm gonna throw Tamika Catchings on that.
I ain't mad at that.
I'm going to go Tamika Catchings, Reggie Miller, Peyton Manning, and I think Marvin Harrison. So
he was in there
Stobbs
too.
and Marvin.
yeah. So I think that's my 4. Kind of an unplanned out 4, really. I mean, if I could have, I would have liked to maybe look to see who played for the Clowns. I don't know if, anyway.
There's, one of the best baseball players ever played for the Clowns. I think. By the way, the Indians are doing a Clowns throwback, by the way, coming soon. Another person you throw in there is Joe Montana, right?
Notre Dame,
right?
Notre Dame.
But he's not from Indiana itself. I guess either it's Reggie and
Doesn't
them.
matter.
We've talked about this every now and again. I still think that if the 3 of us were in random rule at a bar, and it did happen to Tim and I, where we had mentioned, where do you think Notre Dame's at? And they did not know.
No clue.
They had no idea.
South Bend?
No. I bet that's common.
Yep. They know who Notre Dame is, but they do not know South Bend, Indiana.
Where do they think it's at?
No clue.
They didn't have any idea.
Nobody knows.
Didn't know. I bet if we were in California or Texas, or if we asked Jess, Jess wouldn't have known.
Yeah.
Yeah, she would have.
Yeah,
She's from
I bet
Dayton,
she
Ohio.
does.
Oh, yeah.
I bet she's a football fan. She might have known.
Maybe.
Well, let me ask you this, because this is one that nobody seems to know. And I don't know
She's
why.
not a football fan. She's an Ohio State fan.
How old was Elvis Presley when he died?
Oh, here we go.
Is he dead?
He died. Yeah.
Here we go.
Lindsay's great grandmother, that's like 98 years old, does not think he's dead. So
I got this completely wrong. So
How old do you think he was?
Elvis, I'm going to say 67.
42.
good guess. I guess
42.
He was 42 when he died. No one gets that. No one gets that.
Yep.
That and where Notre Dame is.
No, 42.
Yeah, he was 42. Everybody always says 60, 70, something like that. Yeah, he was 42.
42?
No idea.
Yeah.
I caught that. I guessed
didn't
the
either.
same thing you did. So I
didn't
guess I
either.
was completely wrong.
Yeah.
I would have. Yeah. I mean,
My
the
dad-
stories you hear, you've been like, he lived for a long
Yeah, you
time.
would have thought, because he'd been around for so long.
Why do we not say Michael Jackson on there?
Well, I was going to say that.
But he didn't play sports.
Yeah, he
Never
didn't play
mind.
sports.
My bad. Yeah.
But that
it's
is
all
a
good.
big time legend in the state of Indiana.
That's true.
Hey, when you
But
think
how
about
often?
it,
But how often does anybody know that? I bet. Again, that's probably somebody else too. That if you, hey, where do you think Michael Jackson's from? People don't.
no, they don't know that. You're exactly right. So, it's a good question because I grew up in Illinois, lived in 5 states, and it's shocking that based on the population size of Indiana, how many kind of like stars they've had. Like, the great actor James Dean's from Indiana, right?
And he was young.
And he was young when he died. And Michael Jackson, right? I mean, that's a pretty big star, man. So anyways, it's kind of...
And so are all of us.
Yeah, hey, it's just going to happen.
In our own mind.
Yeah, it's just going to happen.
Ship's gonna happen.
So
The
the last random thought I had is I'm disappointed in all 3 of us this morning.
Oh my gosh, Larry Bird. Oh
my
All
God.
right, sorry. Go ahead, David B.
That's all good.
I started Googling. It was the best. Yeah.
How
I didn't
could we
even think
forget
about that
that?
too.
Oh my God.
Sorry, Larry the legend.
The hick from the French lick.
Yeah.
So I'm disappointed in the 3 of us this morning because yesterday, so last night I went out to dinner with some friends and we went to the Rathskeller to see a band. How come none of us have commented about ever being at the Rathskeller to see a band? That is an underrated venue, and I am anxious to go back.
I used to go there.
Fucking, excuse my language.
Man, that's the 4th time today.
Phenomenal.
That used to, when I had the downtown area, that was my go-to place.
But outside.
Oh, yeah.
Outside.
the beer
outside.
garden?
Yep,
Yeah.
Yep, yep.
Yeah.
Been
None
there.
of us have ever talked about that.
No, but
That
I've been
is
there. You've
so
been there.
good.
Yep.
Yeah. Yesterday was the first time I'd been there
And
to
the
see a
food's good.
band
They have good
outside.
food.
So
Oh, yeah.
the people listening to Ship's Gonna Happen. The Rathskeller is a German legacy heritage type of bar. You get the big
there
old
forever.
schooners that are 32 ounces. They've got these rocks out back and a big old deck or stage that the band plays on. always crowded. Probably probably 150 people back
It's
in there.
pretty big.
Beer garden.
Yeah, I would say
Maybe a couple hundred.
We got 2 bars on the outside you can walk up to, and
I
the
would
inside
say
is
300.
huge. 300? That's
Yeah.
all right. Okay.
So when the band started yesterday, and they have a big following, the band was called Jukebox Luke, so they did a lot of cover. They did all covers of like mainly 90s and early 2000s songs. And so by far, I was the oldest person there. And so at the
Shocker.
beginning, so at the beginning of the show, everybody's kind of back doing their own thing. And halfway through the show, every single person was right up on the stage, and it was so much fun. And I just don't know how we've let that go unnoticed. Or not even
Because you're
talked
right,
about it.
Well,
you're
sounds like
right down the street at the Great Divide at 743.
Yeah, right.
Which
Yep.
is only about 2 miles from there.
Yep,
If
yep,
that.
yep.
It's
And
a good- it's a
we
good
ended
time.
up there, and you're just like, how did we not do this place more often?
We should. Maybe me and you and Tim should go there.
Yes, on a band night, on a night like it was last night. It wasn't too hot, it wasn't too cool. A little bit of light rain. It was perfect.
You know, if you know, hey, I see your angle here. You keep pumping the Ratskeller to get Tim out of the Great Divide guacamole contest. It's coming up.
Not
Right.
sponsored.
I can
by
make a
them.
mean
Not-
pot pie.
Yeah,
Or whatever cabbage. What is it? Cabbage. And what does Germans do?
Sausage.
not
Oh,
sponsored.
sausage.
Incredible sausage.
I can
And
make
the
a better
sauerkraut.
What's
Right?
that?
I can make a better pie. That's
Oh
just
yeah,
me.
it's
Well,
yeah.
unless we go into a
You
competition.
get that
and then I'll
sausage
get
sampler.
last.
The sausage.
We did.
It's good,
It was very
but
good.
that's a cool place. We need to check that out.
I just don't know why none of us have talked about it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how did we?
one of my
how have
favorite
we not
places.
done this before?
Yeah.
It was so much fun.
I saw
So much.
the guy who did the documentary song, who I wrote it and he sang it. I just told you guys that Middle Class Mess. That's where I met him. Was the Ratskeller. He was performing.
All right, here we go. You keep talking about this. Spell Ratskeller.
Capital R ATHSKELLER.
That sounds about right. I have no,
it-
I have no
it is-
clue.
it
I have
is-
no clue.
it
I'm
is.
just asking you for fun. I have no clue.
Right. Well, yeah. My brain is.
It is a great
foggy,
time, man. And it's
foggy.
I would say it's
We
very
need-
late 20s at best, and then probably a lot of your mid 30s to early 40s is about the crowd in there.
And I noticed, and I shouldn't say this. I shouldn't say this, but I'm going to
Yeah,
go ahead
you're
and say
gonna
it
say
anyway.
it.
How did we get to the? I'm not complaining. How did we get to the point where people don't wear bras at all anymore? I just don't. I mean, that was like.
Well, if they're young and they're still perky, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess.
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
I don't want to sound like the old perv, but the old
This
perv.
message is brought to you by Supportive Units. Units from Female Products.
Yes, exactly.
Speaking of which, did you hear about Amy Schumer getting just absolutely annihilated on Twitter?
No,
So I guess a couple of years ago,
that's Chuck Schumer's niece.
I know. So she had like her uterus and all kinds of things like removed because she's having bad periods. I hate to get into all this, but so she started dropping, I guess a lot of women learned from her then that there was different size of tampons. So there's a tampon shortage in the United States.
Yeah,
right
I heard
now.
about that. Yeah,
Just like baby food, like 70% of women can't find
hey,
tampons.
Mama ain't happy. Nobody's happy.
Because everyone's figured this out. So they're blaming the tampon shortage on
Amy
Schumer because she started talking about the different sizes. So now the girls are going out buying the right sizes, and now they can't find their
I
stuff.
love it.
I'll be darned.
Oh my God.
What? Wow.
Anything else,
Interesting.
fellas?
Probably, but I think we need to. I think we need to.
Probably we can. Hey man, it's been a great show. Glad to be back in the studio.
And thanks to Jess tucking around
Yeah.
for being on earlier, our show earlier this
66.
morning. So she was phenomenal.
Show 66 and 77 coming out. You're listening to Ship's Gonna Happen podcast. Timmy D, you got anything else?
No, thanks for listening to Ship's Gonna Happen podcast. Thanks for hanging out, boys. It was good talk, and I think we got some good topics out there for people to think about. And put their
Yeah,
own twist to.
definitely
Good
so.
stuff. Thank you, boys. Happy Saturday and weekend. Out.